You know that feeling when you get an email that just stings? Last spring, I got one of those. A single, blunt sentence from my HOA. Proposed vegetable garden denied. Visible rows look unsightly. Seriously, unsightly. My heart sank for a second. Then a different feeling bubbled up, defiance. I mean, who gets to decide what's unsightly in my own backyard? You don't just roll over, do you? I immediately triple-checked their bylaws, devouring every dense paragraph, every confusing clause. And guess what? I found zero, absolutely zero, rules about invisible gardens. That, my friends, was my golden ticket. Over the next 90 days, fueled by a healthy dose of stubbornness and a passion for fresh produce, I built a garden they still haven't spotted. Stay put, because I am about to pull back the curtain and show you exactly how I camouflaged 42 thriving food plants inside a yard that, on paper, technically follows every single ridiculous line in their handbook. This isn't just about growing food. It's about reclaiming a little piece of freedom, one stealthy tomato at a time. That HOA covenant? Oh, it's a masterpiece of passive-aggressive legalese. But I wasn't giving up. I printed every single page, grabbed a rainbow of highlighters, and went to work, color-coding every actual landscaping limit. Turns out, their restrictions were surprisingly specific, and therefore, surprisingly exploitable. No mention of fabric grow bags, which are practically magic for container gardening. That gaping loophole didn't just become my plan. It became my entire blueprint, and never, ever leave exposed dirt where an inspector's eagle eye might spot it. And that forgotten back corner, that's where the potatoes would tuck away, nestled under a flowering quince tree. If its natural spacing threatened to clash with visibility, I tucked it cunningly behind a camouflage shrub, blending it seamlessly into the existing landscape. So my goal wasn't just a hidden garden. It was a landscape that looked utterly unchanged from the curb, every single day, giving them absolutely nothing to flag. It was a game of perception, and I was determined to win. They practically vanish against dark mulch, making them the perfect covert containers. It's all about blending in, right? One afternoon, I spotted a tree trimming crew down the street. I needed something that wouldn't leave telltale gaps or look out of place. These weren't just any nuggets. They were identical to the community mulch used throughout the neighborhood. So I got creative. I sourced copper-colored stainless rods, cut them to size, and then slid them over green bamboo stakes. Nobody would ever suspect they were holding up a bounty of Roma tomatoes. Timing, as they say, is everything. I waited until inspection day +1. This wasn't just about weed suppression. It was crucial for preventing dirt splatter during rain, which could expose my secret. This allowed the rim of the pot to sit flush with the grade, completely below that 10-inch limit and utterly invisible once the mulch kissed its edge. The potatoes, tucked away in their dark bags, were lining up like unassuming border plants. I scavenged the stones from a neighbor as a leftover, piley free, natural, and perfectly camouflaged. I showered, brewed a celebratory coffee, and settled in for the anxious wait. First boss fight cleared. The relief was palpable, and the tiny victory tasted sweeter than any store-bought vegetable. So, I rigged a stealthy drip line, snaking it subtly under the mulch, completely out of sight. This organic fertilizer provides essential nutrients, but keeps nitrogen levels low. Why low nitrogen? Because high nitrogen encourages leafy, vertical growth, exactly what I didn't want. Low nitrogen keeps tomatoes stocky instead of skyscraper tall, ensuring they stay well within my height limits, while still producing a fantastic yield. It's all about working with the plant's natural tendencies, but gently guiding them. Of course, no garden is without its challenges. Aphids hit the peppers in July, a tiny green army threatening my harvest. What doju do? Chemical sprays are out, another bylaw gray zone I wasn't keen to explore. It was a beautiful, eco-friendly solution, and within days, my pepper plants were This was part of my weekly micro-prune routine, a quick 5 minutes with kitchen shears and a bucket to catch the clippings. So they never hit the lawn. It was a constant, almost meditative act of vigilance, ensuring my garden stayed perfectly camouflaged. My neighbors might have seen me puttering around with a flashlight, but they probably just thought I was an exceptionally dedicated landscaper. They certainly weren't seeing me grocery shopping in my shrubbery. And through it all, Not a single violation letter arrived. The silence from the HOA was golden. Foto. A beautiful, lush photo of my front foundation planting. The very spot where my herbs and some ornamental peppers were thriving. The caption boasted about lush, seasonal curb appeal. They had absolutely no clue that the rest of the yard was quietly feeding me. I clipped that blurb, framed it, and hung it inside my shed. It's my secret trophy, official proof that invisible gardens can pass even under a microscope. It's a testament to the power of creative interpretation and the practical benefits. My grocery bill dropped a whopping 22% for the quarter. The entire cost of the build was repaid in a single season. That's not just gardening. That's smart economics. The best part, though, is the interactions with my neighbors. They often stop me, admiring the vibrant greenery. And then, subtly, I hand them a stealth bundle of fresh thyme, wrapped neatly in florist paper. Sharing the harvest without outing the garden keeps the community vibe friendly and, most importantly, keeps the board blissfully unaware. It's a quiet act of generosity, a little rebellion shared, and a perfect example of how you can cultivate both food and community, even under the watchful eye of an HOA. If you're out there, tired of covenants crushing your green thumb, drop a comment below with the silliest rule your HOA has ever invented. Let's share the absurdity. And if you loved this story, smash that like button so YouTube shows this to more rebels who need their veggies without the violations. Don't forget to hit subscribe for future loophole builds and more ways to reclaim your little patch of earth. Look, HOAs love control. It's their thing. But here's the secret. They can't police what they can't categorize. I wanted fresh food, not a fight. And I certainly didn't want to become the neighborhood pariah. By designing under their language instead of directly against it, by using their own rules to my advantage, I harvested not just food, but a profound sense of freedom, one dwarf tomato at a time. So, my advice to you, read your Bible, read them thoroughly, and remember sometimes the sweetest victory, the most satisfying harvest, is the garden they never even knew they approved. It's about quiet resilience, clever solutions, and the simple joy of growing your own.